Hello, good afternoon. Hope you're all well. Thank you for joining us. Good afternoon, good morning, or good evening. Just go through some checks. Just check everything is working as it should be. We just check the sound. Well, seems to all be working fine now. So I'll get into doing some carving. Yeah, we're back on the big Lovespoon again. So we're going to carry on making some progress on this one. I'm going to start off on 1984. I got the gouges, you hear them just in the frame there because I got to turn it round. I've got them ready to go. And we're working on 1984, as I mentioned. And it's a fez with the initials TC. Oh, who we got joining us there? Hello, Aubrey. Prananda. Hope all is well. Yeah, TC. Do you know who those initials belong to? I'll give you a clue. His catchphrase that is going to go on here is just like that. And he was quite a famous comedian with the initials TC. We did mention it last week. So we're working on what he used to wear, which was the fez. And it's actually a name that has a link to our family. But it was my grandmother's maiden name. So as you can see, we're just building up that shape. We're going to add down the side here, we're just going to add a little, because it's a fez, there's like a little tassel in there on the end of a fez. So we're just going to bring that bit like so, just off the top. Have you got it? The comedian Tommy Cooper, spot on, straight in there with the answer. Yeah, Tommy Cooper. And Cooper was my grandmother. That was her maiden name, was Cooper. And there may have been a relation there because there was a link, of course, with Caerphilly. So not far from where my nana was from, in Pontypridd. So we're just bringing that tassel just down the side. And we put a little circular bit underneath. And then to finish that off, a little, where's my other gouge? Almost like a triangular end to the fez and that little tassel. So it's the same sort of processes that we use where we're doing those stock cuts. You just see a bit of wood popped out of there. Yeah, we get rid of that straight away. Well, that don't matter because we don't need that bit of wood. Yeah, those same sort of processes that we're always going through, using those stock cuts as a barrier, getting the depth on what we're doing, changing that sort of level. The fez as well, because of course a rounded off shape. So afterwards we're going to round everything off nicely. And it just means we're constantly making that progress. Hello to the wood burning warrior. I was just on a course to become a first aid instructor for St John's Ambulance. Brilliant. And we mentioned Tommy's final performance. Yeah, spot on. My maiden name was, hang on, I'll have to turn the computer around slightly. I can't read it properly. Maiden name was Bodley, and my great-great-grandfather was from Wales. Well, that'd be worth finding out. It'd be worth doing a little bit of research into your family tree, because that's an unusual name. So if you know there's a link to Wales, yeah, it'd be worth doing a bit of research on your family tree, because not a name I'm familiar with. So it'd be worth it. You may well have a bit of success in tracing your family tree. Although I do remember years and years ago, we had a family came in the workshop and they'd been all over Wales trying to find their relatives. And one of the things that I studied actually in university was history. And so we used to look at the censuses, that sort of thing. And you used to get bit of experience, and you'd get used to reading them. And in Old English, S's, F's, P's and things like that, those sorts of letters, you got used to how they were written because they'd look very similar, especially on the censuses. And so this family had been all around Wales, and they came to the workshop then, and they traced their family member to what they believed was a village in and around the Bridgend area. And it was Frisian or Frisian, and didn't know how to pronounce it. And they went all around Bridgend, and nobody could figure it out because nobody was familiar with this village. So I said, well, can I see it? Because I said, I may be able to help you because I used to do a little bit of reading of censuses for my studies. And when I looked at it, unfortunately, I knew straight away where their relative was. And they looked at me very excited. They said, oh, that's fantastic. Can you tell us? I said, well, I'm not sure that I should tell you, really. And they said, no, we'd really appreciate it. We've been all over and nobody can answer the question. We've asked in libraries and in museums and nobody can answer the question. Well, I knew straight away. As I said, F's and S and P's, they're all very similar when they're written on the censuses quite often. And I realised that their relative had been in prison in Bridgend. So, yeah, they were pleased to know where their relative was, but not pleased at the same time. So yeah, there might be a background. Hopefully, if you do some research on your family tree, hopefully they don't turn up to be in Frisian or Frisian in Bridgend. We got the carver. Hello again. Thanks for joining us. Nice. Is it a Welsh Bible or something? One of my courses on my dad's side had a gigantic family Bible, and it has been in it somewhere. I believe it was in front of the Welsh Bible. I don't remember exactly. I've only seen it once or twice, and that was in my early 20s. Fantastic. Yeah, you got it as well, Aubrey. He was in prison. Spot on. Not the news that they were probably hoping to hear, but it solved the mystery, and that was the end of their search for where their relative was in the village of Frisian, as they thought it was. One of those things, see, with the Old English writing, anything like that, it can look like a number of things. It could, an S, an F, and a P, and things like that. Quite often, when they were doing like that palace script, they look very similar. So yeah, not the outcome I think they were looking for, but they had their solution. Right, so we got that basic shape. What I'm going to try and do now, though, is to make it look more, more realistic. So we drop the top of it. We just flatten it off a bit. Because always, see, as we always mention, we're working in 3 dimensions. We're working in 2 dimensions, but we try to make things look a little bit 3-dimensional. So it's just using different ideas, different tricks, different methods to create that image. So we just get a little bit more depth. Apologies, I know I'm covering the camera a little bit, but there's no other way of doing that. And so we'll flatten this part off. And again, we're constantly on this, because of the size and the shape of this one, we're basically constantly working across the grain. So not ideal, but it's a necessary thing that we're doing. I actually had a look. I had a look on the wood burning warrior. I had a look on your YouTube channel. Some nice videos on there if you want to have a check of all sorts of different commissions and projects. Worth having a little look on there. And also as well, I know the carver, you had a few new projects. It was a nice, I'm going to say a turtle. I hope I get it right. I always get mixed up, tortoise, turtle, that sort of thing. But I thought it was a turtle. So added to one of your commissions. So yeah, good to see everybody's busy and working on different things. Now you can just see, we're just starting to flatten the top off a little bit. Just getting that shape going. And again, I will also shape we're going to shape down the side. So we'll shape this little tassel, bevel in the edges. That's my style, that's how I like to do things. A subjective thing, but I think it gives it a nice finish. Dropping a gouge. And probably what I'm going to do here as well is I want to curve that round, get some more shape on it. And the idea with this is that, you know, we keep sort of working away, carving away on it, and it's basically like it's a little bit of a journey doing something like this, and we're trying to sort of gradually, bit by bit, step by step, just, you know, get through that process. And we're quietly seeing it coming along. I mentioned to you before that we've got another spoon that we are working on for this year. I've been designing that this morning. It's changed, that idea. Originally I was going to do a Celtic twist surround, but the only issue with doing a Celtic twist surround is that it's a little bit similar to the idea that I used for last year. And one of the main stories we're recording is Mum and Dad. It's their 50th wedding anniversary. And one thing I always try to do is to be open to ideas and suggestions from all sorts of different places. And I was explaining the idea to my brother Matt, and he said, why don't you do an oak leaf surround? And I thought, that's brilliant. Oak, golden oak, fits in with the anniversary, something different, something original. And I thought, yeah, great idea. Fits in with Lovespoons. And so far, we've got a 50 going on there. And we're going to put 8 acorns, because of course there's four children and 4 grandchildren. So that was the thinking behind that one there. And then also then we've got what else have we got going on there? 50, a heart, and I was thinking, I had some different ideas. Bit of fun here. One thing we were going to put on was a petrol pump, because the media manufactured a crisis back in, I think it was September, where everyone was running to the petrol pumps because the media told everybody it was going to run out. A load of nonsense, of course, but there we are. Then turkey, because they told everybody here they won't be able to get a turkey for Christmas. We'll probably record the vaccine in some way. All of that's starting to become more and more controversial, because they're using that now to restrict certain, the non-vaccinated people are having their rights restricted. So, yeah, strange times, but some of the ideas then for recording 2021. Oh, I've missed something. What have we got on there? I haven't been in the workshop in little bits. I've been concentrating on my sewing. Calligraphy, brilliant. Sea turtle, starting a scrimshaw piece, brilliant. Van Halen's guitar, doing it with 2 antique ivory pianos, sounds fantastic. Oh, what are you up to, Aubrey, as well? I did voluntary work years ago in Costa Rica, where we did night patrols watching leatherback sea turtles, brilliant, coming ashore with the eggs. Oh, fantastic. What a brilliant experience. Fair play. Well, it's good to know everyone's doing different projects, and it's great to hear what everyone's up to. We're also just starting for a new video. I had an idea. I thought this will be a cracking idea, and there we are. We're very grateful for the support you all give us. So I'm going to share with you our latest idea. It won't be published for quite some time, but I thought we talk about a lot on the channel of how we buy old furniture and we use it, and that is the essence, that's the basis of how our business has worked for the last, how many years have we been here? 75, 85, 95, 05, 15, last 45 years. Excuse me 2 minutes, I'm going to get some sandpaper. So yeah, Sorry about that, I'm back again. So yeah, we're going to have a little look at sharing just in a slightly different way so people can get a better idea of that. And it's along the lines of what we can actually get out of a piece of furniture. If I get a chance, I'll turn the camera around and I'll show you all the piece of furniture that Dad has bought. And we're going to have a good look then at how the furniture, how a sort of small investment in an old piece of furniture that nobody wanted, how it can be turned into profit. So there's a lot of talk about recycling and reusing in this country at the moment, and we just want to really present that then, how we go about making a profit from something that is pretty much regarded as rubbish. And we had it delivered this morning, the piece of furniture, and the delivery men, they probably think we've gone mad because they're looking at this piece of furniture and we're sort of saying, oh, that's fantastic, great stuff, brilliant, thanks for that. And they're probably thinking, well, why are you so happy with this piece of furniture that nobody wants? But as they say, one man's, I think you call it trash in the US, don't you? One man's trash is another man's treasure. And for us, it's a beautiful piece of oak furniture, and we will turn it into all sorts of different woodworking projects. The design on it itself, completely unique. There's a way that the table, really clever bit of design. Now I hope these little carvings, oh, what I missed. Imagining you have a diagram of an old chair marking out how to use all the parts like a butcher's chart. My husband found an old gigantic TV console and turned it into figure. Yeah, absolutely. Only took a few weeks to complete. Yeah, this is the thing. There's so much you can do, so many different ideas, and that's a big part then of what we do then as our business is. Are any of you familiar with the Wombles? That's what always comes into my head when I'm talking about it. That's an old cartoon that we grew up with here. And the Wombles of Wimbledon, they used to collect all of the rubbish and make things from it. Well, that's basically what we do in our workshop. Collecting things that people don't want and turning it into things that people do. Amazing though that what is sort of discarded, and we're very fortunate to get hold of it. The place that we went to is called Frame, and they do a lot of sort of house clearances, things like when people pass away they go and clear the house and then resell the furniture. It's I think it's I may be wrong, but I think it's a charity organisation, and so we go to them and buy up some old furniture, and that's how it runs. So we're just putting the initials TC for Tommy Cooper, and say just like that. I'm trying to think of a Tommy Cooper joke, but I can't think of one at the moment, so I'll have to. But he used to do very, very silly things. He used to do magic tricks, as an example. And the magic trick, it would always go wrong. But the story goes is that he was actually a very good magician, and that was what his act was deliberately messing up the trick as he was performing it. And that was all part of the fun. And every now and then he'd do the trick correctly, so you never knew whether it was going to go right or wrong. And that's why, sadly, when he passed away on stage, nobody realised what was happening because they thought he was messing about. Remember, you're a wombo. Yeah, you got it, Aubrey. Remember, you're a wombo. That's what always comes into my head when I start talking about the recycling, the reusing. I always end up thinking of the wombles. Things that the everyday folks leave behind. There we are. So we just do those stop cuts now for the engraving. And that's the idea now, see, because as we're going along with this, it's great to be able to record it as well, because you start to get a sense of the time involved, so I can work it out. This is the third, I believe, the third live stream where we focused on this Lovespoon. And the live streams that we do usually last around about an hour to an hour and a half. So by the end of today, just in these simple little carvings, that will have taken us probably above 4 hours work on it. So it's surprising how the time just accumulates on a project like this. And it's just too big a project for us to have it as our spoon for the year. There's just not enough time left this year to be confident that we get it completed. So that's why we've got the other design. Hopefully then it may become our spoon to record next year, or it may just end up being a project that goes on and on and on. But nice to do, and you can sort of do a bit, leave it there, come back to it. I don't know if anybody else does similar things with projects, where you start a project, leave it there for a bit, come back to it. It's one of those. It's a project that we quite often are putting on the back burner and leave it go and then come back to it another time. Other things then, we've started having a few requests for different bespoke spoons. We got one that I was working on yesterday, a design, a military themed one. And when I was contacted about it, they said, oh, I just want 2 emblems, the dragon and a ship. And I thought, well, that's straightforward. And then I saw the emblems, and it's not straightforward. Some very complex emblems. They got lettering in and all sorts of, both of them have got a little lion on. The one has like laurel leaves as a surround. So it's going to be a bit of a challenge, but it'll be a nice spoon. The other thing that will be a challenge with that project I'm talking about there is because of the size of it, it'll be difficult to scroll saw. Because one thing that we do encounter with the scroll saw is ours is a 17-inch neck, basically, the distance between the blades and the back of the machine. So it's going to be longer than that. So that restricts our movement when cutting out. Have I missed anything? I went to the doctor and told him it hurts when I touch here, and here. The doctor examined me and said, your fingers are That's a Tommy Cooper joke. Spot on. That's his style. Yeah, I can. You've jogged my memory in one similar with that. Where it. Oh no, I can't remember it properly. I won't try and tell jokes. That'll get embarrassing. Right, so we're going on to like. I need a full stopper, and I haven't got one on top of the spoon. That's what I'm having to do. See, is to line up all of the gouges. They're all sort of on top of the Lovespoon and by the side of it. Did I miss another one? We were stationed in Stuttgart, Germany for 5 years. Every Thursday was furniture throw-out day, and after 5 p.m. you would see people just grabbing furniture off the streets. We got so many things. Or was that a Tommy Cooper joke? You're spot on. No, Aubrey, it was indeed. Oh, I picked up on that straight away. That's a classic. That's a classic Tommy Cooper. That was the Tommy Cooper style. Oh, I've watched some of his stuff on YouTube, and it's timeless. Some fantastic material out there if you get a chance to have a little look. Yeah, it is amazing what people decide to throw away. And when it comes to furniture and things like that, I mean, we've got walnut here. I mean, the walnut, sacrilege. The stuff that we had, the one batch of it, they were actually intending on burning it. And they said, oh, my wife just asked me to check with you. Is this any good? If not, don't worry, we're going to burn it. And it worked out. It was walnut. You think, how on earth could you consider it? But there we are. Unwanted by everybody except the woodcarver. Unfortunately, that's one thing, we mentioned it with COVID now, that the furniture sales, they're not happening so much. So, right, we got just like, and then we got to try and squeeze that in there. Let's have a little look. Years ago, Mum and Dad, they actually saw Tommy Cooper live. I think they went on holiday to Bournemouth, and they went out the hotel, and the lady on the desk said, now remember where you are. And they thought that she was being rude to them, sort of telling them, you know, you must behave. And that's not what she meant, because they went to see Tommy Cooper, and then they went to get a taxi back, and taxi driver said, where are you staying? They said, oh, a hotel next to a zigzag. And so he said, right, okay, there's a zigzag there, there's a zigzag there. Well, it basically turned out that they were lost. So they ended up in the police station trying to figure out where the hotel was. Just like that. They did find it in the end. For me as well, this is a bit of a different experience because I'm standing to carve. And because at the moment, I'm sort of having to twist a little bit towards the right hand side because that's where this particular carving is. Because of the sheer scale of this, it's quite an awkward carving to do. You can hear as well, Thomas the woodcarver is on the scroll saw in the background, so he's cutting out love spoons there. The workshop itself, we've had groups in last week, and this week now we're nothing booked in at the moment, but we shall see, because the last time we were in this situation a couple of weeks back where it looked as if we were going to be quiet, we ended up having a busy week. So it goes to show you never can tell. In the words of Chuck Berry. Or was it a Chuck Berry song, or did he just sing it? You'll have to let me know. Tommy's Workshop, hello, thanks for joining us. I used to do house clearance for a few years and most of it went into a skip. I got a few oak dresses, but most was skip. Yeah, that's it. It's like now when they were working up the roads here on the church and they had wood they were pulling out that we reckon minimum 200 years old. We sent a piece to the carver and it was just being thrown in a skip. Beautiful stuff. And it's the history, it's the story that you get with it. That's what we're always interested in. And so, yeah, we rescued it. We said to them, don't you want that? And they said, no, it's all rubbish. We said, okie doke, if you're sure. A throwaway society. That's what we're living in. Don't reuse and don't appreciate these things so much. So that's what we try to do, is to find another use for things. And what I find then, especially more so since I've been doing YouTube, the furniture, like the oak panels, we'd always use those then, see, for the love spoons, but the back panels, things like that, some of the thinner stuff, we wouldn't use them, they wouldn't have much use for them. But now, because I'm doing the different scroll saw projects, I use them for that, they're perfect for it. We can stack cut them. That's heartbreaking, Tommy. They weren't there when you died on stage, were they? Yeah, it's no. The things that get thrown away and are not valued and things like that. I mean, locally, a lot of the front doors, they're solid teak, which of course they can't import that into the country any longer. And if we can get hold of that, that's Dad's favourite for working in. So you can see we're just finishing off this section. this is going to probably end up being one of the few years where I will have virtually finished the carving, because most of the other ones I've done one little bit and gone on to the next one, but this one we've had a good go at it. I'm going to move that 8 across from the drawing, so the guidelines, we're just going to lose them a little bit because it's taking up, it's a bit too close to the fez. Have I missed something? It's especially a shame when they are cutting down rare trees in parts of the world while so much good wood is going to waste elsewhere. Yeah, spot on. Spot on. That's something that we're hoping that we'll be able to develop, and something we'll accelerate is our tree planting project. And again, we'll be getting some unusual trees in there if possible. I saw a thing a couple of years ago where they were talking about some of the apple and pear trees in Wales. There's some really rare varieties. But there's crazy things go on, because most of the apples and things like that in the UK that are sold in supermarkets, they're importing them all. And so we got that's one thing we can grow apples and pears and plums and cherries. But yeah, they import a lot. But that's something that that I would like to do, actually, would be to get, I know there's what's it called? It's down towards Neyland locally. There's the vicarage there. There's a rare type of, it's either apple or pear tree, and I'd love to get a cut in or something from that tree and plant it here on site and try and get a bit of an orchard going on using that one there. 1984. That's my wife now. She's just heading out to pick up our boys from school. You heard the car in the background. They've hopefully had a good day. They're both busy boys there, doing well in the school. Right, I'm going to come around the other side. I'm going to move the camera 2 seconds. We're going to move that camera and we're going to go on to our next carving. So we're well on with that one there. And we're going to go on to our next one, which is 1983. So there we are. We're just going to lock that off and refocus, just like so. And we've got, I'll just check everything's on, still working okay. How are we looking there? Yeah, that all seems fine. Have I missed anything? Yeah, it was a weird thing for us to do. We tried to give the stuff away, but no one would take most of it. You never can tell. Is it Chuck Berry song? Spot on, yeah. Like a bit of Chuck Berry. You just skipped someone's but you got used to. Yeah, that's right. It is a shame. And that is basically that piece of furniture we'll show you. That's probably what happened with that one. And it could have been somebody's. You never know. It could have been somebody's sort of. It's sad because it could have been somebody's sort of prized possession, and on top of that as well, what is sad with a lot of the furniture that we've come across over the years, and sometimes we'll have to get some of it out and show it on a video, because some of it we just didn't have the heart to break it up, because it was so beautifully made. I mean, this one, it's got a unique way of the drop leaf. We'll show it to you after. It's got a unique design to hold the drop leaf up. And so, somebody's thought that through, somebody's put a lot of time and effort into making it, and it's ever so sad then to think that a lot of stuff just gets binned, and there we are, that's it. But there we are. Life, isn't it? Bit brutal sometimes. And but that's what we always think of whenever we're dealing with different bits of furniture, is the work that's gone into it and the care that's been taken, and then at the end of it now we hear it's the obsession with things like IKEA. That's a lot of that sort of furniture, flat pack. And I've got to confess that my wife, she likes that type of furniture, but for all the years of experience of working with wood, nothing can prepare you for putting together an IKEA flat pack. What we got on it? Oh, no, I thought I'd missed a comment, but I haven't on there. Yeah, putting together one of those is enough to test anybody's patience. And they always manage to put in one wrong piece. A number of times I've had to make up something because one of the pieces is wrong. And when you're putting them together, you've only got to get one piece in not quite right or something. Oh, it's a nightmare. But there we are. Personally, I much prefer a proper piece of furniture, but unfortunately, Yelly, my wife, has some different ideas on these things. I feel the same when I see old bicycles scrapped or left broken, locked to a post. Yeah. It's as I say, it's been a whole basis of a business for us, is using wood that nobody's wanted, and that's why we always share that as an idea for people. If you're wondering as well what this one is, 1983. I'm pretty sure with this one here, they had a new pound coin. So that was the idea behind what was being recorded on 1983. And I'm looking, there it is. It's right in front of my face and I'm not noticing it. So yeah, in 1983, they had a new pound coin. So that's what we recorded for that year. So we're just gonna, same again, do those stop cuts down into the wood, use the stop cut as a barrier, just take a little bit out, and afterwards then see that will be filled up with the shellac. I reckon then if we're recording a pound on there, perhaps I'll put I'm gonna go away a little bit from Thomas the Woodcarver's plan, possibly for this one here, but what we do, we got the circle, and we're going to put a pound symbol on it, just like that. Going back to Tommy Cooper, get that basic shape, and then I'm drawing this. Have I got this right? I've forgotten what a pound symbol looks like. Is that right? I thought it was like that. How do you draw a pound? You'll have to let me know in the comments section. Have I done that right? Let me know in the comments. Does that look like a pound? Looks a bit like a euro to me now. Am I getting confused? I think it's a pound. I'd have to check on the pricing gun. It's so long, see, since they let us have proper money here, I'm starting to forget what it looks like. They don't let us have real money any longer. Well, not that it's real money. But I think that's right now. I keep changing my mind. Am I right? Canada launched our dollar coin in 1987. It had a loom on it, so we called it... Later it was made a $2 coin, and so it was called Toonie. Oh, that would have been great, that would. The Looney Tunes on the money. I like that idea. That fits quite nicely. There we are. It's always a bit of a challenge. You can just see a little bit's flaking away, and that's just down to that fact that we're working entirely cross-grain. But it's basically, to do a project like this, there's no other way than to do the whole thing cross-grain. So that's how it's gotta be, basically. So we're gonna have, it's gonna say £1. So we start working on the words around the surround. We've got an O. the N. So what I do sometimes, if I'm not sure with the N where to start and finish the line, do the two sides and then join it together in the middle. Engraving as well, if that's something that you don't do, it's a skill that's worth developing because it allows you then to personalize whatever you're doing. And so it's worth spending some time playing around with a bit of scrap wood and find a font, a style of writing that you're comfortable with that works for yourself. So we're going to just put in a couple of stop cuts. Yeah, so writing text is something that we do quite a lot of. One of our least favourite jobs used to be doing the incumbent boards. So when they would have a new minister in the different churches, we'd have these incumbent boards brought into us. People asking us, would you put the new name on? And that was always difficult because a lot of those were actually made, people think they're hand carved, but a lot of them were made back in the 1960s by engraving machines. So that was always a challenge because the engraving machine was perfect, as the human eye, of course, isn't. So what we would have to try and do is to work out all your levels and your positions, that sort of thing. And then we would try and get the letters in the style that it had already engraved them on. And yeah, just basically try and do your best with it. So I've noticed here, he's written £1, and then he's changed his mind, I think, and then gone across here to write pound again. So we go one either side this time. And something we've spoken on at different times as well, how we do charge a little bit for the engravings now because there's quite a lot of time involved. We do 2 initials, we include for free for people on the Lovespoons. And if people want extras, we charge them 50p for each one because it takes us quite a bit of time. It was basically something we introduced for having groups in, because if you have a group in and the first person asks you to engrave Elizabeth and Jonathan, and then they say, can I have the date as well? It takes quite a bit of time, so that's why we introduced it as an idea. So we've got the stop cuts and the P, the O. And you can see as well, for anyone who's interested in the techniques, the methods that we use, you will notice that I'm basically doing the stop cuts first of all. So that gives us the shape with our stop cuts. Do all of those straight off the bat, and then afterwards you can just go round those just to finish them off. Just take out a little bit of detail. Right, and the D, I think I'm going to change from the style that Dad's written it in there, and I'm going to do a lowercase d. Because I've done almost a lowercase p for the pound. And it just matches it up, hopefully. So there we are. That's another 2 years on our spoon. So let's go on to, we're going back in time, we are. So we've done 84, 83. I'll just go around all of the little bits of detail on these ones. 84, 83, 82. The year I was born. So he's got my name on there. He's written it Dave. Well, that's what they refer to me as. I'm gonna change that. I'm gonna get a bit formal. I'm gonna put my name on there as it is David. The reason for that is a lot of people know me as Di. So I'm referred to as Di, David, a few different things. So I'll put David on there. Because I'll check now. How do we put Michaela, my sister's name, on there? We got 1986, 85, 83. 1980 Michaela. Yeah, he's put it on there full Michaela. So I'll do the same. Do the same with mine. Make it the same. So I'll put my full name on there. There we are. I think that, yeah, I got a little bit of work on the pound, on the circle of that, but that's that's pretty good for that. I'm happy with that. We'll go on to our next one. And just as I'm walking past, I'm going to adjust that camera. Maria in Wales, hello there. Prang da. Managed to catch you live again. Can I ask what it is you're working on? You absolutely can. I missed the beginning, haven't seen the whole thing. Yeah, I'll show you. So as I'm going across, we'll show you what we're working on. Right, I'll just change the focus onto auto. So basically, Maria, what it is, it starts, that's the one end of the Lovespoon. Let's focus, let's drag the camera out a bit so you can get a bit of a, that's the computer in the background. So you've got the one end of the Lovespoon, a Welsh flag in the background there. And then you come all the way down, right to the other end. I'll move the gouges out of the way. There you go, right down to there. Give you the background on this one. In 2007, we made that Lovespoon up there. That was the longest hand-carved Lovespoon in the world. They've done a longer one since, but that one that they did, it wasn't hand-carved. So this is all, that one there, it's all hand-carved. This one, we've used a combination. We're using the hand-carving quite a bit. But we've done some of the cutting out using all sorts of different methods, however we can. But that's what we're working on, is another long Lovespoon, basically. Yeah, it's massive. So the idea, see, it all opens out. That's why you've got all of those extra links in there. The other thing I mentioned then for everybody to see, there's the famous bit of furniture. Now, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put it on there just 2 minutes. I will zoom it in as well. Let's zoom it in on that piece there. So if you just look now, if you just look in the corner, I'll point it out. If you look here, so what happens with this one? Right, so to drop it out, drop it down. Can you see? Look at this. Look at that. What a fantastic way of doing it. Somebody's spent a bit of time thinking that all through. So you've got this for that drop leaf to sit on. Look at that, solid oak. So they come out, there's somebody's thought through all this process and that sits on there like that. And again, old furniture, nobody wants it. So we're going to be able then to use that, and we're going to do that, as that's going to be part of a video, is demonstrating this bit of sort of beading type thing around here, that's broken down there. It's all solid oak, and that'll be a video that we do then, is showing how to turn £65 into probably £650, to be honest. But we'll see. Yeah, we'll see how we get on with it. Right, back to this big spoon now. Let's get some focus. Where were we going to? Right, yeah, that one there. So we're right on that one there. There's also on this one, there's 1982. There's a crown, the name William. So, any thoughts? Why a crown and William on there? Let us know. Anybody figure out what that one's about? Did I miss anything? You gonna add a Brian? Kidding? hello there, Joe. Oh, thanks for joining us. North Carolina. Ah, great to have you with us. That's some work that, yeah, it is indeed. It's keeping us busy. Beautiful cabinet too. Yeah, it is. We were saying about that. Yeah, Aubrey's right as well. It was the year Prince William was born. So we were born the same year. And that's why the crown is on there for Prince William. Yeah, it is. That cabinet it's beautiful. And as I said, we will be, you know, you don't really want to be breaking up stuff like that. Because it's been beautifully made, so it's a shame. It's a real shame. You know, we don't want to be. We know the work that somebody has put into that, the designing, the thinking, the thought process. But the reality is, nobody wants it, and we're, you know, at least we're going to give it a new lease of life. And for us, that wood is so valuable. It really is it's a valuable commodity for us, and we can turn that into so many different things that for us, that's where its true value then lies, is on reusing it and what's the word? Repurpose. That's the word I'm thinking of. We're going to repurpose it, and it will be all sorts of different things. And then we'll demonstrate how we go about it. And then hopefully, hopefully that sort of idea will inspire people to sort of do similar things. Because it does seem a real shame that there's so much furniture and wood out there that just nobody wants. Right, so we'll see how this one comes up now. We're working on the crown. So we got like that. Is it a crown or For a moment then I thought it was going to turn out looking like a pie or a pasty. There we are. So that's that basic, once again, get that basic outline. And we'll go round the outside again, a little bit tricky because it's all cross grain that you're working. Not ideal, but no other way we could do it for this particular project. It's always been, whenever we've done these larger Lovespoons, it's always the issue, is that you're having to work cross grain, which makes it a little bit more demanding when it comes to the wood and the carving itself. This one now, this little gouge here will be useful because this, we can take out a lot of just in and around the edges. But that's one of the main things with it as well though. It's good fun, we're enjoying it, we're enjoying the process, and it's just moving this along, we're making progress on it, and hopefully then it will, hopefully we will get it finished eventually. Maybe not this year, hopefully next year, but who knows. At one stage I was going to call it the Eternal Lovespoon and have it as a project that goes on and on and on. It may yet end up being that. Is it all from one piece of wood? Spot on, yeah. Pasty, maybe for a Cornish spoon, yeah, absolutely. We're, yeah, it's all made from one single solid block. I mean, so far, wow. I mean, when we made that other longest one back in 2007, we spent 300 hours working on that one. This one is probably going to end up in a similar sort of ballpark. We've easily spent over 100 hours minimum. It's probably pushing up towards 200 hours that we spent on this one. So we haven't actually recorded the time scale, but excuse me. But it is pretty significant, and it's good fun. It's a little bit of a challenge for us, see? Something to keep us on our toes, keep us thinking, and something a little bit different. And because we have, under normal circumstances, we have visitors to our workshop, it's just something different that we can have on display that people can look through. And we mentioned it in previous live streams where it's a bit of a talking piece. So you've got everything on here from, the birth of Prince William to the introduction of a new £1 coin. You can guarantee they introduced a new £1 coin because it was probably cheaper for them to make. We got a rose on here in 1986 when it became Reagan made it the official flower of the US. A sunflower, that was Van Gogh's painting, sold for a world record sum of 399 million. So just recording something for each and every year since 1969. As a little bit, as we mentioned, a bit of a talking point. And it's amazing, it does get you talking, because last week we were talking about the things like the development of the internet. Right. Have I missed anything there? Hello there, Joe. Yeah, young people today don't seem to want the old furniture. Hope I'm wrong. You had a Live Aid too. Yeah, Live Aid on there too. Yeah, I agree with you. Like even myself, my wife now, she doesn't want She likes sort of IKEA furniture and that sort of thing. It even influences people. They'll come in here and, you know, the influence in terms of what has happened with the furniture industry, they'll come in and they'll say, oh, I want oak, please. And I say, yeah, there we are. And I've shown them, and they say, no, I want oak. I say, well, that is oak. And they say, no, I want light oak. I'm thinking, what's light oak? Oak is oak. So, but now, because of the furniture industry, there's a certain type of oak that they've sourced that is lighter in colour, and so people have got this idea that there's a specific thing as light oak. As for ourselves, well, oak was always like a golden colour, we always thought of it as, and but oak is oak. But obviously now that's not the case. Let's have a little look. We need to go back over all the stop cuts on the top, because we're just losing some of that detail. So we're going to go over all of those stop cuts just to reform them, just like so. I'm not sure about my crown. Should have rounded it off a bit better, shouldn't I? If you're wondering as well, I know if Thomas the Woodcarver was watching, he'd be complaining at me now because I'm not using a block to round it off. But of course you can't do that, because the reason I can't do that is because it's the shape of it. Because you're carving down into the wood, you just end up skimming across the top. Here we are. Let's just shape it, round it off a little bit on the sides to make it more of that rounded, give it that more rounded appearance. There we are. Oh, we've got somebody pulling into the workshop here, so we'll have to I will have to put on my mask to speak with them. So we're just going to, again, just rounding this all off. So we'll be, might have to explain to them just a little bit that we're in the middle of a live stream. Might have to call Thomas the Woodcarver in. There we are. So just getting more of a rounded off finish to the crown, hopefully makes it a little bit more realistic. Hello there.
That's nice.
Yeah, we're just in the middle of a live stream, so I'll give them a shout. Excuse me 2 seconds on the live stream, we'll be back now. There we are, we'll give them a nod. How are you getting on? You alright?
Fine, thank you.
Good, good. Right, back to the crown. So we're just going to shape that round it all off, and just to finish it off. So we've got all of those stop cuts down into get that shape of the crown, and then just rounding it off a little bit hopefully makes it starting to look more like a tuft. Let's have a little look. You're not wrong, Joe. Some are raised to appreciate quality, but we need more. I think as one gets older, one also tends to appreciate the older things more too. So there's still hope for the future. Yeah, I think so. And I think possibly in terms of the future as well, I think sort of when we have people in the workshop, you know, different generations coming through, I think there is more of an interest in more practical things and in how things are made. So yeah, hopefully so. We live in hope. So we're going to go back around those edges just to finish off just a final sort of shape on it, just to try and get a more crown appearance to it, because it's starting to look like a tuft. Although you have a crown, don't you? Oh, seconds out. There we are. So we're going to go over the tops for there and there. That's it. And then we got this one going in there, this one going in there, and in there, and that one there. Yeah. It's an impression. That's what we would say. It's an impression. That's the main thing. Right, we're on to the names. What do we got there? I hope so. I think it's because maybe it's hairy ice. A little bit of hairy ice. Right, so we're just going to do the stop cuts for the letters. So we start off with the W, and you can see already that that's going to be a little bit away from where it's actually marked out, the lines where they're marked out. So we got what we do, so you do the two sides. So if you're doing a similar job, do the two sides first of all, and then do the middle two afterwards. So we try and fill the gap and get the shape correct. I haven't got my full stopper, that's on the bench. So that's the I. And we put a couple of L's on there. And then another I. And we're just completing the filling in the space as we go along. It's slightly, ideally, I would have probably just started a fraction further to, as I'm looking my right, as you're looking your left. So I would have started the engraving a little bit further in that direction. But what I'm going to do, to spread it out a little bit, we just got extra spacing between each letter. So a little bit of extra spacing between each letter, and just make those letters, make each letter just slightly larger. So it just spreads the whole carving just across a little bit. There we are. Yeah, that's not far off, because we're starting there and we're finishing there. I'm happy with that. Right, so again, going back over the individual details. So, yeah. So we go like so. And then, there you go, 1 and 1. And then, yeah, so we'll have the two eyes we do next, because they're the same gouge to cut them out. And a couple of L's. And afterwards, when you put that shellac on, what it'll do, it'll really bring out the engraving. So that's what we will do with it. We'll really bring out that engraving on the gouge itself. There we go. So we're just going to finish off that name. Thanks again.
Thank you as well.
Cheers. Oh, thank you. Very grateful. Thank you. Here we are. I was a gentleman just picking up his Lovespoon there, so that was a bespoke spoon that we did. So yeah, I think he's pleased with it, so that's the main thing. Always nice if they're pleased with the finished spoon. Another piece of oak that we used for making that one from. Off the top of my head, I remember that particular design had a bee in it. A bee on it, sorry, not a bee in it. So we're going to put 1982 on there, and then you've got my name just to go above as well. If nothing else, it gives you a good sort of concept of the time that goes into these projects and the sort of painstaking work that we put into some of the Lovespoons that we make. But that's the nice thing with the tradition then. There's not a right or a wrong way for going about it. You can basically, you can spend as much or as little time working on an individual piece as you want to. Right, so we're just going to work our way all around the outside. Just like so. That's the 1, the 9, and then we're going to go on to the 82. And I'm looking now as well, I'm just looking, 1981, looks like a wine glass he's got on there. Ah, Making Your Mind Up, that's right. That was Bucks Fizz. He's gone Eurovision on us for 1981. He wants to record Bucks Fizz winning Eurovision Song Contest in 1981. The only one I remember of that group was Cheryl Baker. She was a children's presenter, is what I remember of Cheryl Baker, who was in that particular group. There we are. So, yeah. So we've got the 1, the 9, the 8, and the 1. And we go on to then carving. I'll do the stop cuts next for my name to go onto the spoon. I'm looking as well up and down the Lovespoon, and I'm thinking we've got stuff on here up until 89, I think. We haven't got later stuff at the moment, so it'll be interesting as we go along with this to find out what he's got in mind for how to record some of the later years. So we've got quite a few years still to go. If you're wondering why as well, I start quite often, if I'm not following the lines, quite often I will start either in the centre or one letter across. Oh, have I missed something? When you get to the year of your start of the workshop, it would be nice to have a carving a spoon. That sounds complicated, that does. But we'll have something on there, 75. A lot of it will be, because he's the one with this one he's researching what he wants to put on it. So we'll see what he comes up with. I'll see if it's on here, 1975, let's have a look. 1975, it looks like he's got Save Your Kisses for Me. He's gone musical on us again by the look of it. That's what he's got on there. Right, so we just come across the top as well, just taking a little bit of detail out. I'm going to go lowercase with the D on this side. And then what I'm trying to do now as well is to just get it in a stage where today it's interesting, isn't it? There we are. I guess it just depends what mood you're in and how you're feeling about things. Today I'm trying to get a few years finished. Other times I was trying to get a little bit done on as many years as possible. But today I want to get some years completed. So as far as I'm concerned, 80... Oh, well, there's a beauty. Now we got a bit of a dilemma. That's great, isn't it? When you don't even know what year you're born. I was born in 1982, and I got and put 1981 on there. Of all the years not to know. Oh, that's a classic. Well. That's typical. Of all the years to make a mistake on, I've gone and made a mistake. I don't even know what year I was born. So I put 1981 on here, and I was born in 1982. Have I got enough space to rescue it? What do you reckon? It's going to be a bit of an adapted 82. Oh, that's a classic. I could have made a mistake on any year, and I went and made a mistake on the year I was born. You'd think I would know that, but there we are. I managed to get it completely wrong. I've made myself a year older. Right. So what we're going to do to rescue that, it's a rescue mission now. Which one we need? We need that one there. Now, I'm not going to say anything to Dad. I want to know when he looks at it. When he looks at it next, see if he even realises that I've made a mistake. He'd be looking at it probably and thinking, why has he done a 2 like that? You'd be thinking, that's a strange way of doing a 2. Indeed it is. It's because I completely messed it up. Right, so we start to rescue it. What happens when it goes wrong? That's what people love to ask us. What do you do when it goes wrong? You look for a solution. There's always a solution. But you really should know when you're born. But such is life. Right, so we got that curve in there like so. And then we get that bottom line in there like so. See if that will go. Will that go? Yeah, that'll go now. That'll go in like so. And once we drop some shellac in there, nobody will even notice. He hopes. Yeah, we always manage to show you something different. So this week, the moral of the story is if something goes wrong, if you make a mistake, then just look at it and see how you can adapt it, how you can change it. So yeah, deliberately done. I was wondering what happened to 98. When you get the year, it does. It's a 2 as drawn by a newborn day. Carved by, yeah. Actually, that looks fine. Yeah, we're managing to rescue it. Little bit more work on there. We've done this. We over the years, all sorts of different things have happened like that, and you just try and adapt it, change it, see what you can come up with. Now, I'm going to try and just very sneakily, without having to go across. Let's see if that is. I'll try and get a refocus. Let's see if we're looking where we should be, where we want to be. Just going to check, is the camera moving across okay? Let's check on, I'm just going to go across the OBS studio 2 seconds. Yeah, you can pretty much see that. That should be fine. You did, don't it? You have happy accidents, spot on. No such thing as a mistake. It's all part of the process. But you'd think I'd know when my own birthday was. Honestly. That's what happens when you decide to make a love spoon that's more than 30 feet long. You start looking at it for so long you can't remember when you were born. It's no good them doing those phishing emails trying to get my date of birth off me. That'll really confuse them. Right, so it's got to be like a champagne style glass, and we're working sort of to that center dot center piece, and we get in that shape as it comes out, just going up to about there and up to there, and the same, then we turn it back the other way like so, and then the same again back the other way like so, and then let's have a little look for the top of the glass. Something slightly larger than that one. I like the shape of that one though, so that'll do it. Yeah, that'll do it. Just like that. Just like that. It's that Tommy Cooper, it's got in my head. Just like that. So again, we angle this over. So it's that idea of creating that sort of 3 dimensions when you're only working in 2. there. So we just got a little bit of work over the top. And then, yeah, same again, just flatten that angle down, like so, creating that sort of top of the champagne glass effect. And we're going to go a little bit around the outsides. So starting off down the bottom, just going around the outside. Back the other way. Just going to go right the way round. That sort of surround. And that'll just finish it off. Yeah, just like so. And then again, this little piece at the bottom would be angled back as we're looking at it. So we've got to get that, so it sort of works, it goes in behind. So it goes in behind the neck of the wine glass. Could do with a really tiny gouge. I'm just going to cheat and use this one. But we're trying to get it so that's going in behind. Creates that effect of it going behind. Just like so. And then with this part, again, we just want to go in and around. Just giving the whole carving that little bit of depth. And when that's shellacked, it should help it to come out more. The wood itself as well, just to pause on that a moment, it's a piece of oak and it's carving quite nicely, it's carving quite well. And it's just as well because you're spending so much time working on this that if it was really difficult, that'd be an extra level of challenge. The only sort of extra difficulty with this one is that fact that it's cross grain. Let's try and get a little bit of shape there and there and in there. Just like so. That's it, and then back the other way. And we're just going to shape this all round. It's just to create that idea, it just to, you know, the impression that it's round in its shape and form. There we go, and I'm going to sand that down a little bit, and I think for today that's pretty much going to be me done for. Have I got that bit of sandpaper? Where have I put it? I put it in a pocket. No, can't find my sandpaper. Is it dropped on the floor? No, we'll have to use a new piece. So here we go. Tear that piece and in half. And let's just see how that comes up. We'll do a little bit more out of around the sides here. Let's have a little look. That's it. And all in all, it's coming along. That's about all you can say about it. There's still plenty of work on there. But all in all, you know, that's another little bit of progress we've made on it. It's another step in the right direction. We keep making those little steps, and then hopefully, eventually, it'll come together and we will have our completed Lovespoon. There we are. So we'll finish on a celebration with the wine glass. Hopefully, the champagne glass. Hopefully that's interesting. Hopefully it's useful. Yeah, let us know your thoughts on it. As always, we will have. Have I missed anything? It was 1981 when your parents were married. No, they were opened. They were married in 1971. What, have I missed something here? Actually, it's quite. Is beeswax shellac a good finish for cooking utensils like spatulas or spoon? Improvise, yes, spot on. Beeswax is probably, you're probably okay with beeswax. Shellac, no, shellac's not suitable for utensils. I would tend to advise something oil-based. So for instance, I would go for, I mean, things I've used over the years. There's a baker's block oil I've used for cooking utensils. And that gives you a good finish, like mineral oils and things like that. But check, you want something that is food safe. Shellac is not food safe, it's decorative. The other things then, if you've got nothing else, olive oil, vegetable oil, something that you use for cooking. That's you know, another way you can go with it. But things like shellac, the shellac, it's a, how can I explain? It'll chip and it'll come off in the food, so it's not food safe. So no, I wouldn't use something like that. But yeah, it's something like that. Mineral oil, butcher's block oil, something that is food safe. Have a look on the label of different things and find out what is food safe. There we go. I'll just go down the line again so you can just see what we've worked on today. We've worked on 4 years. Got 84. Oops, I've just pressed the focus. Sorry, I'm working upside down. 84, you've got 83. Oh, I've just noticed I got a bit of work to do on 83. I thought I'd finish that. 82, and then on to our Bucks Fizz with 1981. Thank you all again for joining us. We really appreciate it. Any questions or anything, get them in the comment section. We're always delighted if we can help out in a small way. We'll have our usual upload on a Wednesday. Our shorts as well, they're a feature that are here to stay now, so we're going to do one of those every week as a bit of fun. Yeah, and that's what we'll be doing. All going well, we'll be back next week with another live stream. And we hope you all have a good week. But thanks again for joining us.